Guess who's back? We are back here at 3B's Technologies, or supposedly there's 27 H-1B visa workers, and we've got a really big announcement you're not going to want to miss. Stay tuned, and let me tell you, if you are a scammy H-1B fraud, you're definitely not going to want to miss this. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. We are back in studio, and I think it might be colder in studio than it is outside. It is freezing cold. I can't escape the cold wherever I go, so I brought my blanket. But yeah, we're here. We're here, and I really, honestly, I shouldn't be smiling. I shouldn't be smiling because there was something very devastating that happened. I don't know if you guys heard. Extremely devastating incident. Someone came up to Ilhan Omar and jumped up, sprayed her with some unidentified liquid during her town hall last night. Sprayed her with an unknown substance. Oh my gosh, this is, wow. Very, very scary situation. I'm just saying, clearly she's under attack. Maybe we should send her back to Somalia, for her own safety. I'm thinking of her. I'm thinking of Ilhan Omar's safety, and I couldn't bear the thought of anything bad happening to her. We should help her get out of harm's way by sending her back to Somalia. Except, yeah, this whole thing really stinks. And I want to lay out some of the pieces for you. And then I want to let you guys decide. You tell me in the comments, is this real? Was this staged? It just seems very, very strange. So let's watch the video with sound again.
Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Whoa. She just lunged at him like, that's weird.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will continue. No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked. No, we will continue. These assholes are not going to get away with it. You need to go get checked. No, I don't know what. No. That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know that's what that was. That's what they want. Please don't let them know. It's not about him, Ilhan. It's not about him. It's about your safety. No, he sprayed something on you. You need to go get checked. Yeah, and it smells terrible. We're going to keep talking.
Doesn't smell worse than Somalian food, I can tell you that.
I beg you. Please don't let them have the show. Please don't let them have the show.
Look, another view, another camera angle. Okay, listen. I obviously don't like political violence. I think that it's terrible anytime that it happens. I don't think anyone should get attacked over their political views, but I'm not sure that that's what this was. And I'm certainly very, very, very not sure. Actually, I am sure that this person, they keep saying this person is MAGA. We'll get to that in a minute. But this entire incident, you tell me, it seems totally, totally staged. You've got multi-cameras. Okay, you've got like different angles. The guy just happened to be in the front row closest to her. And all he wanted to do, he went to all that effort, all those hours that he probably waited just to make sure that he had just the right spot to just pew, 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 like a water gun. That doesn't make any sense. Also, don't let it be lost on you. They're sending out their people to put bullets in our necks. And this guy was like, pew, 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 with a little syringe. And on top of that, I'm just saying, if I'm giving a speech, which I do, and someone squirts an unknown substance on me, I'm not ready to throw hands. She very aggressively, what was she going to do? Punch him? I'm not doing that. I'm letting my security handle that, which they already were doing. So there was no reason for her to be so aggressive. I don't actually believe that Ilhan Omar when she doesn't know what's happening, she doesn't know who it is, she doesn't know what's being squirted on her, she doesn't know if it's some poisonous substance, and she's like, no, I won't let the bullies win. The bullies won't win. Like, that's just so unbelievable to me. That's really unbelievable to me that he could have sprayed her with literally, that could have been poison, that could have been acid, that could have been urine, that could have been semen, like that could have been any type of foreign substance that you would not want on you. And you're like, no, I'm going to continue. And all the people around her are like, Ilhan, you really should stop. You really should go to the bathroom. Ilhan. And she's like, no. Also, if it was an unknown substance that you didn't know what it was, you would immediately understand that you could be putting other people in the room at risk as well. Like, what if inhaled, it causes a problem? So now you're putting everyone at risk because you want to take this big dramatic stand. Also, on top of that, we're hearing from sources that Hazmat said the liquid was apple cider vinegar. So you go there, you get your big break, you wait to be seated right in front where you have easy access before security can shut you down, and the substance that you choose out of all the substances that are out there is apple cider vinegar. I don't believe any of this for a moment. I just don't. I have a hard time believing this. Now, the mainstream media, as you would expect, just like fawning all over her, falling all over themselves to try to paint her as she had her hero moment. It just so happened that they had multi-camera angles, that her people were ready to insist that she leave the room. And she was like, after she decided not to beat the shit out of this guy, I guess, she was like, no, the show must go on. So now she's the new hero, the new martyr of the mainstream media. I don't let bullies win, says U.S. Congressman Omar after substance thrown at her. I wouldn't say the substance was thrown. It was more of a pew, 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 pew. It was not thrown. Trump continues to rail against Ilhan Omar after Minneapolis town hall attack. And listen, he's not buying this whole thing either at all. When asked about it by ABC News, he said, I don't think about her. She's a fraud. She probably had herself sprayed knowing her, which, to his point, she does have a history of lies and fraudulent behavior. Now, the other weird part of this story is the suspect. Let's talk about this guy for a moment. His name is Anthony Kazmierzak. He is 55 years old. And he doesn't appear to have ever been charged with a violent crime in Minnesota. Now, he was twice convicted of a DUI. He has 2 children, and he was married and divorced twice. But here's what starts getting really strange, okay? He planned it ahead, apparently, because now we're seeing from the New York Post, alleged Ilhan Omar attacker hinted at town hall plans in cryptic text to neighbor, I might get arrested. So he was texting his neighbor to see if he's like, hey, can you please look after my dog? Because something might happen and I might be gone for a couple of days and I just need to know that old Fido's okay. All right. Well, then you have the left that they want so badly. They want so badly to be able to pin some sort of political violence on the right. They see what's happening where, they have Antifa cells whose entire mission is to obstruct ICE and create chaos and threaten their safety. And they see what happened to Charlie Kirk when he was assassinated in broad daylight. And they see the fact that President Trump, of course, got a bullet in his ear. And they're like, oh, God, we really need some of the political violence to be on the right. So they just take some liberties. That's all. They just take some creative liberties in this. And so now the suspect is definitely MAGA. It's definitely MAGA. Man arrested in the attack on Ilhan Omar is a convicted felon who made pro-Trump posts. Uh-oh. Now, what are those pro-Trump posts? Well, I'm going to read you the quotes from the article. Now, we haven't been able to actually find them. We have not been able to find where these posts are. So you're actually already taking the word of the author of this article. I'd just like to start with that. So take that for what it's worth. But they say he made comments critical of former President Joe Biden and referred to Democrats as angry and liars, which I don't think you have to be pro-Trump to say, hey, I think Joe Biden is actually dead. Like, I think they're propping him up. I think he's Weekend at Bernie's president. That would be a criticism of Joe Biden, and that would, make him pro-Trump? I don't know. George Clooney was saying things like this. So I don't know how that would make him pro-Trump, but let's go on. Okay. He said, and I'm reading this verbatim, I realize it is not a correct sentence. I can't help that the suspect has bad grammar. All right. Trump wants the U.S. is stronger and more prosperous. Stop other countries from stealing from us. Bring back fear that the enemies back away from, and gain respect that if anyone threatens ourselves or friends, we will expletive them up. I think I can piece together what that expletive was, which again is pro-America. I wouldn't say it's like MAGA. I wouldn't say it's pro-Trump. It's just pro-America. It's wanting a strong America. And then in another post, he asked, when will descendants of slaves pay restitution to Union soldiers and families for freeing them, dying for them, and not sending them back to Africa? Again, does Trump have like this pro-slavery policy that I'm unaware of that would tie him to that post? Because I don't know what that has to do with Trump. Also, another wrinkle, big Ukraine supporter, apparently. He was very excited that his stickers came in May 2022 or March 2022. His stickers came. His Stand with Ukraine stickers came. Yay, they were only $5. That doesn't really sound super pro-MAGA, pro-Trump. I mean, we saw the way President Trump manhandled Vladimir Zelensky when he came to the White House. He had his staffers eat his damn meal. They kicked him out before he could even eat his food. He's like, yeah, just let the staffers eat it. That's fine. It's actually one of my favorite stories about President Trump. So I don't know what makes him pro-Trump or pro-MAGA, but that's what you're going to read if you read the mainstream media. When you do just a basic amount of digging, you're like, that doesn't sound right. Also, photos of him and his children. Uh-oh. Blue hair. Uh-oh, blue hair found. Uh-oh, crazy red, orange hair found. And apparently they are both LMNOP pronoun people. One labels herself as queer. Both of them use they pronouns. Yes, just like every MAGA mom and dad. We just have these they-them kids who label themselves as all sorts of weird things you can't be. I still haven't figured it out. Yes, definitely a MAGA dad. I am sure that that's the case. Now, another strange little blip, little wrinkle, and I will say this could change. Only time will tell. But as of right now, he was not formally charged. He was not formally charged or scheduled for an initial court appearance as of like right before the time of this taping today. This afternoon. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office has until Thursday to charge him. They could seek an extension, and maybe they will. But as you can see, go back to that, Stephen. As you can see on all of this information from the jail, they're holding him on probable cause of assault. So they're saying what the crime is. I believe it's like third-degree assault. But they're only holding him on probable cause. Why? The whole thing was on camera. On multiple different cameras, multiple different angles. I don't understand why he has not received formal charges yet. So again, they have until tomorrow to do something about that. Maybe that changes. But until then, it is very strange that a congresswoman had an unknown substance squirted on her, and they have the guy, they got it on camera, and they're still holding him on probable cause. That's weird. Also, I haven't seen any, maybe I missed it. You guys tell me again in the comments. I haven't seen any media pick up that Ilhan Omar filed a police report, a report with the FBI. I don't know. It just seems weird because, I mean, could be a crime if she wasn't involved in it. If she has to tell them that she was attacked and she wasn't involved, well, that could be a false report if she ends up actually being involved. It's in 18 U.S. Code 1001. So it basically says, I mean, you guys can read it right here, but if you willingly falsify, conceal, or cover up by any trick, scheme, or device a material fact, or make any false, fictitious, or fraudulent statements or representations, or make or use any false writing or document knowing the same to contain any false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement, shall be fined or imprisoned not more than 5 years. Honestly, you could just send her back to Somalia. You don't have to actually go through the trouble of imprisoning her. So we'll see if the police report emerges. We'll see if she puts her name on the paper and signs it. It just seems really strange, okay? It's just weird with a lady who has a history of lying, of committing fraud, of marrying her brother, of changing her birth date. And it tracks with like the visa that she got to come here with her dad. It just seems really strange, not to mention the timing of it all. The timing of it all just so happened right off the heels of Trump announcing that she is being investigated with regard to her finances. New York Post Representative Ilhan Omar investigated by DOJ, Congress over ballooning net worth, Trump says. So he called her out on a Truth Social post and said that her net worth is reportedly now over $44 million. Now, again, I always like to preface anything related to math with like, I'm not a mathematician. I don't claim to be brilliant in math, but I do think that if you make $174,000 a year on a congressional salary, that math ain't mathin'. So where are you getting all of this money, Ilhan? Seems a little strange. So she, of course, responded, "Sorry, Trump. Your support is collapsing and you're panicking. Right on cue, you're deflecting." I feel like I can do better than that.
When did she become Indian?
Listen, I'm down the rabbit hole on that one, okay? Forgive me. You're deflecting from your failures with lies and conspiracy theories about me. Years of investigations have found nothing. Get your goons out of Minnesota. I feel like I ended strong.
You did. You got it at the end.
I ended.
You're down the rabbit hole too much. People don't understand.
God, they really don't understand if they only saw my inbox. Holy moly. Hey, there you are.
Got it. Yeah, it's unfrozen. Thought out.
If they only saw my inbox, which like Steven's constantly like, what are you on your phone? I'm like, I just got another H1B tip. I gotta review it.
Can I say a little aside on that? Because of you being home and having to get your stuff set up, I was in your email trying to find stuff. You had like 700 unread emails, and it was too much for me.
Yeah, Steven can't handle. He's got like OCD. He has to check it immediately. He can't handle the unread, which I know a lot of people are like that. I too used to be like that, and then finally I let it get so bad that I was like, I'm never gonna get caught up. I just have to decide I'm just gonna be this person who's never gonna get caught up and clear all of my new mail. So Ilhan Omar wants to talk about conspiracy theories. And it's just strange because, I don't know, I feel like the entirety of the left tried to claim that President Trump wasn't actually shot in the ear at all. It was staged. You had it was just a rubber bullet. You had, actually the whole thing was staged. And he just so happened to turn to one side and ended up saving it. It was that close, but they staged it. And then it was just a shard of glass, like Christopher Wray said.
I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that hit his ear. So it's conceivable. Although, as I sit here right now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else.
Which is actually so incredibly disrespectful to the family of the man who was killed by the bullet. But it's another day in lefty utopia where they're allowed to say whatever they want. They're allowed to say things didn't happen. I guess maybe Charlie Kirk is still alive too, right? Conspiracy theories only exist on the right, and also they're never true, right? Like President Trump being shot with the Secret Service confirmed, not true, didn't happen, I guess. Hunter Biden's laptop, not true, didn't happen, except it did. I mean, we all saw the pictures. Oh, and by the way, he sued over a laptop that I guess didn't exist. But I heard, I was reliably informed by like 50 former Intel people that it definitely was a Russia hoax. Except, of course, we all know how that turned out. Joe Biden's mental decline, total conspiracy theory. COVID-19 being manufactured in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Pfft, yeah, right. It was just bat soup. I mean, I could go on for days. The Russiagate Steele dossier fabrication, the big tech collusion with the government, censorship of conservatives, just another conspiracy theory, total conspiracy theory until they weren't. And if it is such a conspiracy theory, I'd like to know why the Biden regime was looking into her as well. Oh, isn't that interesting? Under Biden administration, Justice Department began examining Ilhan Omar's finances. And that from the New York Times says a whole hell of a lot. A whole hell of a lot that the New York Times would feel forced enough to admit to that. By the way, her net worth has reportedly increased by 3,500% since 2023. Just 3,500, though. It could have been 36.
Did you say 3,500?
3,500% since 2023. But it could have been 4,000. Could have been higher. I'm breaking Steven's brain right now.
I was literally thinking, that's got to be like a record. How's that?
Listen, okay, well, let me tell you, Ilhan Omar is hard at work, Steven. She is very hard at work. She had an interest in a winery in 2023, which was worth between $15,000 to $50,000, which is already kind of wow, you guys couldn't narrow it down a little bit more than 15 to 50. But the next year, curiously enough, business exploded to between $1 million and $5 million. That is quite the marketing, I guess. Now, our friend Benny Johnson did some digging into the company, and here's what he found.
What is Est Cru? We are winemakers and memory curators, okay? Est Cru Winery has a bunch of brands that's led by these people, creators of eye-catching labels. So I'm sure I can go and get some of their wine, right? Well, they don't have any activities here. Let's go ahead and give them a call and find out. Oh, no. User busy.
Uh-oh.
Let's try that. Okay. Well, I've done this like 20 times today. Okay, so that didn't work. Is there any wine in this wine company? Is there anything about wine? Because I see like stuff about events, but like, what is this exactly? Aren't you supposed to sell wine at your wine company? Where are your wines? Oh, there are no wines. You want to know why? Because this is a fake company.
Wow, it's giving H-1B visa fraud vibes. It's giving fraud. Okay, this is also the woman who, remember, she seems to be besties with all of the people who are being charged with fraud in Minnesota. Like, she just happens to know them. She's having her campaign events at their restaurants, and it turns out they weren't actually using the money they were getting from the government to do the things they said that they were going to do. You gotta wonder, was that money just going right back into Ilhan Omar's pocket? By the way, is anyone else concerned that a Muslim is part owner in a winery? Like, I think that goes against your religion, Ilhan. Do you also have shares in a pork company? I wonder. Well, I hope that the powers that be will continue digging, because something stinks about everything about her, and it's not just the Somalian food that I'm talking about. Make sure that you are subscribed to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Smash the like button and comment. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us here if you are a conservative. Make sure to go over to Sara Gonzales TX as well. We've got the new YouTube channel, Sara Gonzales TX, and make sure you hit the subscribe button there as well, because we've got a lot more. Speaking of fraud, we've got a lot more that we're going to bring to you very soon. And it's going to be dropping exclusively over there, because there's been some funny business going on with this channel. I don't know when I'm going to be able to discuss that in full with you, but we will soon. All right. Want to thank our sponsor of this segment, Kindred Harvest. So Kindred Harvest is the American answer if you are a tea drinker. If you're a tea drinker and you're getting your tea at the grocery store, even if you're getting one that you think that it's like, oh, but it's a healthy brand. Actually, the majority of the tea at the grocery store is from China. So you're going to have microplastics in it. You're going to have heavy metals in it. You are going to be getting all sorts of nasty contaminants if you're buying that tea. Kindred Harvest is the American answer. It's third-party lab tested, zero microplastics, zero heavy metals, and it is blended and packed right here in the USA. They've got all sorts of different, they've got Earl Grey, they've got immunity tea, which I love. They've got cinnamon apple. They've got regular black tea. They've got you covered, whatever it is that you like. Choose American quality and support an American company by going to kindredharvest.co. Use code Sara for 20% off. That is kindredharvest.co. Use code Sara for 20% off. I want to talk about what's happening in Minneapolis. Speaking of Ilhan Omar, but the greater, like, zoom out, let's look at the 500-foot view of what's happening in Minneapolis. It's very clear that President Trump is taking what is happening there very seriously, especially with regard to the shooting of Alex Pretty by one of the Border Patrol officers. So he's pulling back the people who bungled the response. You've got Border Patrol Commander at Large Greg Bovino. who I am less concerned with, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem has to go. She was already not qualified for the job. And so you have Kristi Noem, who's going out and giving these press conferences and saying things like, you should never bring a gun to a peaceful protest. That is absolutely wrong and very dangerous language to be saying to the American people. Now, with your Second Amendment right comes a responsibility, but her response has been disastrous, and President Trump has seemed to understand that because he sent in Tom Homan to go clean up the mess and work with the city. So clearly he's like, all right, y'all are being pulled back. I'm sending in Tom Homan. I can trust that Tom will do the job. And then the agents who were involved in the shooting were put on leave. So you've got CBP Border Patrol agents placed on administrative leave after deadly confrontation with Alex Pretty. So President Trump, I think is doing what any reasonable president would do. He's assessing the situation. He's pulling back the people who seemed to make some major mistakes in a time where they shouldn't have. And he also is continuing to explain that he's happy to work with Tim Walz. Now, the thing with that is I'd like to know more of what that means, because you can't reason with the left. You can't ever win with them, because even though they seemingly got this win, you had President Trump to come out and say, I'm talking to Tim Walz. I want to work with him. What does that mean? Because Tim Walz is over there saying, we have to protect our Somalian neighbors. Go take to the streets. And you see that reflected in the leftist response to President Trump. I mean, like, kind of giving them what they want almost. They kind of got a W here, and they're still fighting, carrying on, and demanding more, because they're actually swarming Minnesota's Capitol and chanting outside Tim Walz's office. Justice now, justice now. Like, I don't understand what it is that they want. Tim Walz has been very clear that he is not going to cooperate with President Trump. And even if he does, it's like he's trying to make your community safer. What is going to be good enough for you guys? What is actually going to be good enough? I don't think there is anything. Nothing is going to be good enough until they see the total elimination of ICE and of Republicans, basically. Now, don't take my word. Take the word of a Minneapolis council member.
We want the 2,000 plus agents that are still here today occupying our communities and putting them at harm's risk for being abducted or even shot and killed. We want them out. We don't want SWATCs. So until that demand is fulfilled, there is simply not a satisfying moment in this change.
We don't want SWATCs. Oh, it's just so funny to just throw around the term Nazi. It's just so funny. I mean, what could possibly go wrong if you spend the better part of a decade calling people who are pro-America Nazis and literally Hitler? It's not like anyone of note recently got assassinated. It's not like that rhetoric contributed at all. They never stop. They never stop. Now, there is one thing that I will admit that Ilhan Omar has right, and it was when she said this.
I feel that it is important for people, whether they are in elected office or not, to allow these people to intimidate us, to make us not fight for our constituents and for the country we love.
Probably the one right thing that she ever said. We shouldn't let these people intimidate us to make us not fight for the country that we love. Because these people are ghouls and you can't negotiate with them. I was just saying this the other day with the toddler analogy. You can't give in to a toddler throwing a temper tantrum because all that teaches them, literally every parent would know this. And they know deep down if they handled it the right way or if they handled it the wrong way. Because if they handled it the wrong way, they've got probably a spoiled brat on their hands. And if they handled it the right way, they don't. You can't negotiate. You can't give in to a screaming toddler who's not getting their way. Because the moment you do that, you show them that behaving in that manner gets them what they want. Now, I want to give you Tim Walz as an example, okay? Right after the Ilhan Omar performance, he goes straight to his talking points about political violence, says, I'm glad that Congresswoman Omar is safe. Our state, I feel like every time I read this, I should do jazz hands while I'm speaking. Our state has been shattered by political violence in the last year. The cruel, inflammatory, dehumanizing rhetoric by our nation's leaders needs to stop immediately. We've already heard the cruel, inflammatory, dehumanizing rhetoric that he has been spewing about ICE and ICE agents. I guess those don't count. Right? Those don't count. It's cool when we do it, not when you do it. But I gotta say, I tell you guys, they don't have a floor. They just go lower and lower and lower. Let me give you a new one yesterday. Tim Walz talking about what he would do to Vice President JD Vance.
I'm for bipartisanship. Here's the problem. I'm for bipartisanship. I would beat the
shit out of him now if I could, and I would call that out.
What? We don't stand for political violence. I would beat the shit out of Vice President JD Vance. Okay? It's almost like these people don't believe in any of the ideals that they claim that they do and want you to live by. By the way, I don't think Secret Service is too worried about you and your jazz hands over there. Jazz hands McGee. Hey, yeah. Hello. I don't think they're going to be concerned. I don't think you're going to beat the shit out of anybody. But still, it's crazy. They're getting away with spewing this rhetoric at the same time that they're calling us out for what? Literally for what? Trying to make the community safer? Let's take Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey as an example. He also said, I made it clear that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws and that we will remain focused on keeping our neighbors and streets safe. And city leaders will continue to stay in conversation with Mr. Holman and his team. Now, that's insane, by the way. That's insane to say that out loud. President Trump pointed this out in his response. That is insane to say Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws. He said this is after having a very good conversation with him. So President Trump was surprised. Could somebody in his inner sanctum please explain that this statement is a very serious violation of the law and that he is playing with fire? He should defund that entire state, but certainly that city immediately. There's no reason to continue. They are blatantly saying publicly that they are not going to follow federal laws. They should not get federal dollars. Now, there's no shortage of examples that I could give you about why you can't negotiate with these people, why you can't negotiate with terrorists, and that is what they are. They are domestic terrorists who are holding our country hostage. They are preventing our law enforcement, our brave law enforcement, from going out in the streets and finding these criminals and getting them out of our communities to make us safer. I want to give you, let's go over to Philadelphia. There's no shortage of leftist lunatics in this country. Let's go over to Philadelphia. The district attorney, Larry Krasner, talking about ICE agents.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are.
Okay.
In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades,
just throwing that out there.
Find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice.
Oh, okay. Let's go over to Ohio. The Ohio Attorney General candidate, Elliot Forhan. Let's see what he has to say.
Hi, this is Elliot Forhan, candidate for Ohio Attorney General. I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction rendered by a jury of his peers at a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, based on evidence presented at a trial conducted in accordance with the requirements of due process, resulting in a sentence duly executed of capital punishment. That is what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump.
Guys, these aren't just like randos on the internet. These are people who are running for public office, making these public statements to represent them in their campaigns. That is what is selling for the Democrat Party. That's what's selling. Now, I also want to play one more here, which is that I guess the left has gotten together to agree that it is time to bring back bullying or something. Watch.
Now that the right has shown us who they really are as human beings, I am so happy because I feel like collectively on the left, we have all decided that we are bringing back bullying. And this is so great for me because I'm really good at this. This is something that I thrive in. I come alive, and I've had to suppress this for a very long time. Because, you know, we learn as kids, like, you don't bully. Bullying's bad. And it is bad. But these are unprecedented times.
Wow, I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked that a gay man would be so petty. I'm so shocked. Wow, a gay and retarded ginger is out there. Oh, I'm going to bully. We are bringing back bullying. This is giving you the state of the Democrat Party. This is actually how they feel. And you should know that. All right. All right, we got to take another quick break, and then you guys are going to be really excited to see what's coming next. Oh, I can't wait to show you. First, we want to thank our sponsor, SelectQuote. So life insurance is one of those things. Everyone knows they should handle it, but it's incredibly easy to put off because you assume that the coverage at work is good enough. Jobs change, families grow, budgets shift, and the last thing you want is for your family to find out the protection you counted on wasn't actually protected anything. That's where SelectQuote makes a real difference. For more than 40 years, they've helped millions of Americans sort through the maze of policies, prices, and fine print to figure out what actually makes sense. They've got licensed agents that are going to tailor your actual policy to your health, your needs, your budget. By the way, even if you have things like heart disease, diabetes, whatever, you can still find solid, affordable coverage. And in many cases, there's no medical exam involved at all. Get the right insurance for you for less and save more than 50% off at selectquote.com/Sara. That is selectquote.com/Sara. All right, we're out here where it all began. Yes, 3B's Technologies, 130 Darbon Lane, supposedly has 27 H-1B visa workers. Curiously, an empty house, and we have got some really exciting news. I've got a special guest, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. What is the big announcement, sir?
First of all, thanks to you, we're here today. We've started an investigation of 3 different companies that we think might be scamming people with these H-1B visas. And so thanks to you, we've sent them questionnaires. They're called civil investigative demands. And they're designed to find out what the truth is. What is actually happening? What are their actual practices? Are they defrauding consumers? Are they misguiding people as to what they're actually doing? And that's what we're going to get to the bottom of and find out. If they're doing something wrong, they potentially could lose their ability to operate in Texas and have to pay a lot of money back to the state of Texas.
So if you're a scammer, this guy's coming for you. He's coming for you. All right, it's cold out here. Let's go. Continue in the studio.
That sounds great.
All right, let's go.
All right.
I am here in studio with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who has, of course, just announced that his office is going to be investigating some of these peculiar H-1B companies that we've been exposing. They look completely scammy, if I'm being honest, and now you guys are going to go in there and expose them if they're committing fraud.
Yeah, so we've started the investigation. Thanks to you for highlighting this and making this known to us, and I guess going viral with this. I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to be busy looking at, what they're actually doing. So we'll ask them lots of questions. They're called civil investigative demands. It's like interrogatories in litigation, basically just questions, and find out what's really going on and seeing if they're acting appropriately.
I have to tell you from our digging that we've done, you're going to need a lot of manpower on this. I don't even know if your office really knows what they're getting into, because I keep giving the analogy, it's like an onion. We just keep pulling every layer back that we pull. It just doesn't make any sense. You're going to get a redirect to addresses that don't actually exist, or remote working locations where there is nobody there. I really truly believe that you guys have the ability to transform our state just by doing basic due diligence that has not been done at the federal level.
The good thing is we have a lot of practice doing things just like this. We've gone after a lot of companies that are defrauding our consumers,
They've been very successful.
Yeah, so we know we've had experience doing this. So it's not our first rodeo, and we will definitely find out what's going on. And that's really what the people of Texas want to know. What's the truth? What's really going on? Are these companies acting in the way they're supposed to? Are they violating federal or state law? Are they deceiving consumers? Mm-hmm. Those are reasonable questions to ask. And look, if they're not, they'll be fine. If they are, then we'll probably end up in litigation with them.
Yeah, I just briefly, I'll mention Governor Abbott, who I don't personally always agree with, has suddenly taken action to suspend visas for certain state institutions. But as the Attorney General, you do have the power to go after private businesses who are abusing our laws and committing fraud. And so, what tools do you actually have? You've got the misrepresentation, right? You can, if they are found to be doing that, then you can revoke their business license? What happens?
So we could certainly ask that be done. We don't actually revoke it, but a judge would if we were successful, and also deceptive trade practice. If we could show that they have deceived consumers and show what the damages are, we get treble damages. So those numbers can add up fast, and it starts creating disincentives for so-called businesses to deceive consumers. I've had certain business interests who say we shouldn't have that power in Texas, but the problem then, if that was true, then no one would be able to stop these companies, because they'd have no downside in pursuing fraud, because if all you could ever get was restitution, the state has to have a mechanism to protect consumers, because consumers on average don't have the ability to go sue these companies. Mm-hmm. We can.
But you can, and you will. I'm told that a lot of Indian scammers or, Chinese scammers or whoever the scammers are, that they're watching what I'm doing. They're very scared. They're sending WhatsApp messages. I'm told they're in all these groups and they're sending WhatsApp messages. And so I would imagine that there's a high likelihood that they may be watching this right now. And I'd like to know if you have any message for any of these scammers who are scamming Texans. What would you like to tell them?
Well, first of all, I'd say stop. I mean, you can always quit doing bad things, right? And then damages are less. Because we're going to find out what the truth is. And certainly other people, if there are other companies doing this, which I would guess there are, if they are violating our laws or deceiving consumers, we're going to find out. I mean, word of mouth, we end up finding out, people complain, they follow you, and then it gets spread around. As I said, I think you've pretty much gone viral on this. And so a lot of people are going to know about this. Yeah. So one, I'd encourage, stop. If you're scamming people, stop doing it. Stop lying to people and operate a legitimate business.
Yeah, we've seen, with regard to the H-1B, we've seen in Texas in 2025, there were what, 41,000, almost 42,000 beneficiaries approved for H-1Bs. And the top 10 companies, we've got it listed on the screen here: Cognizant, Infosys, Oracle. Cognizant, again, I'm not sure why, Tesla, Charles Schwab, AT&T, KPMG. And just in these top 10 companies, that's like 12,000, almost 13,000 jobs taken away from Americans, but taken away from Texans. So I'm just saying, I think the state of Texas is ready for a change. I think the state of Texas is going to be behind you on this, because I have gotten so many emails on our tip email that we've set up. And these people, these Texans, are like, literally, I kid you not, there are so many of them that start with the subject line, something along the lines of, H-1B ruined my life, because there are all of these displaced IT workers who are like, I'm white and I can't get a job in the sector that I specialize in because of this visa and because of the abuse and the fraud happening.
Yeah, I think the intention was to bring in highly skilled workers that we didn't have in our country.
Exactly
we were
right.
Missing, like, to help us move our economy along and create wealth for other people. But the reality is, it seems like the H-1B program is now, it's been twisted and it's being used to replace American workers. I can guarantee that was not the intent.
Exactly.
I don't think it was the intent.
No.
And so I think Congress has to revisit this and figure out, okay, how do we get the workers we don't have, the really high skilled people that maybe can take us to the next level and actually create jobs, not take jobs. It's doing just the opposite of what it was intended to do.
Yeah, it's certainly not become America First policy. But good news, I know a guy who's running for Senate who I think would be perfect at making sure that all of these, programs are America First.
It's certainly something I'm going to be focused on, because who has been focused on? I mean, I've heard of one senator from Missouri, a friend of mine, who happened to be the Attorney General before of Missouri, and I worked with him on a lot of cases. He's asking those questions, but I mean, our current senator that I'm running against he's not asking those questions, nor has he ever asked them. So he's been all about open borders, and now he's suddenly not for that. But he's criticized border walls. He's voted for amnesty. He's promoted amnesty type things. So I'm going to be the antithesis, the opposite of him in these types of matters.
And how are things going? How's the campaign going?
Quite well. I mean, we've discussed the funding issues, how
Yes.
incumbents can raise, unlimited monies, spend almost, $50 million.
It's so rigged, man.
It is so rigged. But here's the reality. He's still behind. He's in the 20s in the polling. And if Texans will get out and vote, we have early voting in 3 weeks and the election on March 3rd, we can replace a guy that's been there he's been in office for over 40 years.
It feels like 150.
I know. And I've asked this question, what has he accomplished that's good? I'm not talking about the negative things, the Robin Hood that he created for Texas when he was on the court. I'm not talking about restricting our Second Amendment rights, which he did with Joe Biden. I'm not talking about resettling Afghans over here, which he also helped Joe Biden do. I'm talking about good things. What has he accomplished? And the reality is, when I've talked to Texans, I never get an answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we let him keep going back if he doesn't accomplish good things for the state of Texas? He is not accomplishing good things. He talks about it. He fakes it. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, John Cornyn is all about Washington, not Texas.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think Texans are ready for a change. And I would encourage everyone to go to the ballot box, go vote for Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who I'm really going to miss you. I'll come visit you in D.C.
I'm going to be back every week.
Okay, all right, fine.
I'll just stop here because the airport's close.
Yeah, great, good. Maybe we can get the heat working for you before you arrive. Tell everyone where they can go. Again, you mentioned it's really, really difficult when you are not the incumbent who is allowed all of these loopholes to raise way more money. So where can people go to support you? Because remember, you don't have to live in Texas to care about this. This is a senator who we need in the Senate to vote America First.
Yeah, and I'm going to be voting I'm voting for Texas, but if I'm voting conservatively, I'm voting for you wherever you live. So
exactly.
You have the opportunity to replace a liberal, moderate to liberal senator who doesn't represent us, doesn't vote the right way, with me, and you can do that at kenpaxton.com, and any contribution's good, because we just need more people contributing because they have big money coming in from D.C.
Yeah, just go do it. Go donate. We don't need a runoff. We don't need to waste his time. Okay, make sure go to kenpaxton.com. Help him out there, and we will be right back with more. As always, don't forget to go to saramerch.com. Now's the time to support your local ice raids, is all I'm saying. You can wear it proudly with their hoodie, your t-shirt, your coffee mug, or your hat, but support your local ice raids at saramerch.com. Also, check us out at americanbeautybysara.com. I am wearing Freedom Fighter on my lips right now, but we've got a shade for you over at americanbeautybysara.com. We love capitalism. We're conservatives, okay? So make sure, go check us out. Get your wife something for Valentine's Day. We'll see you tomorrow.